One of the things I would like you to think about as 2024 is coming to an end is your finances. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the different things I want you to watch out for as the year ends when it comes to your finances, and how you can end the year on a great note and start 2025 with a bang on your finances. And so today, I have 5 things that I'm going to share with you that if you follow it judiciously, you're going to be able to get a lot of insights and transform the way you approach 2025 when it comes to your money management capabilities. Number 1, get clear on your spending and income this year. One of the biggest things you need to do to start wrapping up 2024 with a bang so I can be able to approach 2025 on the right note is to understand in crystal clear terms how much did you spend this year. Take a moment to identify. Think like a business, right? Like businesses, this is time to close their books. They want to see how they are doing financially. They want to see the 2024 go according to plan. Have that same mindset towards the finances. These guys have billions and hundreds of billions in revenues, yet they take the time to distill and understand to reflect how the year went. For my family, we have a monthly budget. We also have a yearly budget that we use to track all our expenses. Everything we spend money on is in a track. So what we're going to be doing is, in the next couple of days, we'll be spending about 6 to 9 hours just reflecting on all our expenses. How much did we spend in a month? How much was it on a monthly basis? Were we always on track? It's easier for us because we always review it after every month, but then we like to come together and say, okay, in the last 11 months, how have we progressed? How are we doing with our finances? Bonus points for you if you actually have a separate expense sheet for your yearly expenses, maybe vacations, or in between taxes, or back to school expenses, or for gifts. This gives you a clear idea of your current status. You have to know where you stand. Where do you stand financially? Did you make all the money you plan to make in 2024? Were you paid your bonuses? Were you given enough commission? Did your income go up or down 2024? Get clear on how much you earned and how much you spent. And then look at yourself and say, okay, based on this amount that I earned, how did I spend my money? Were you above or were you below? That leads me to my next point, right? It's ask yourself, were you above, were you below, or were you just right on top? Or in better terms, are you in the black or you're in the red? Using for lack of a better word. In this case, you want to think to yourself and be honest. Let's say you earned $60,000 in net income and you spent $65,000. You're in the red. But say you earn $60,000 and you have spent so far $59K. You're in the black. Ideally you should be way lower than that, but at least you're in the black. You want to always think to yourself, am I in the black or am I in the red? Am I below or am I above my expenses? Am I living below my means, within my means, or above my means? You have to be honest with yourself. Now, a lot of you may not have a budget. Well, if you don't have a budget, try to get a clear idea. Maybe look at your credit card statements or your bank accounts, or just have a clear understanding of how much you spent so far for the year. You need to understand it because that's what will help you understand if you are above or below or within your means. Once you've been able to figure out how much you spend, how much you've earned, and if you're in the black or red, this is the next critical step. Why? What is your why? Why are you in the black? Why in the red? You need to understand what went well, what didn't go well, what could be improved. Are you in the black because you made more money this year? Or are you in the black because you actually spent less than you made this year? Or are you in the red because you had some excessive emergency expenses come up? Are you in the red because you overspent, you went shopping, you blew past your budget for vacation? Why in the red? All these patterns will give you insights that are very rich, so you can know what is working well, take apart what is not working well, and what you can optimize for the future. You always have to think to yourself. It is beyond just taking the numbers and say, okay, I made 60K, I spent 50K. No. Why did you spend 50K? What's your why? Because that's going to help you think for the future, which is 2025, and say, okay, 2024, I did really well financially. How can I double down on what's working, right? What worked well for you in 2024? Is it because of the budget? Was it because you were using your debit card to make your purchases only? Was it because you made more money? why did you do well in 2024? And on the flip side, if you're in the red, say you're even 10K above, you spent way more than you anticipated. Even if you spent lower than you anticipated, say you spent 61K and you made 60K so far. Why? Where did the 1K come from? How did it happen? Was it because you had friends come over? Did you have an emergency celebration to partake of? Like, what happened? And then how can you take that information into the next year, right? You want to always think about the why behind your patterns. In my experience of coaching people and like helping people solve their personal finance problems, one of the ways in which I'm able to get to a very quick solution is by identifying the why. Like, why did you do this? Like, how did this happen? Like, when you problem solve, you'll be surprised at the insights, at the ideas, at the rationale behind people spending the decision. And so it's very important for you to take a moment and ask yourself, why did my spending go up or go down or was in line? What did I do well? Number 4, this is actually going to be applicable across the year and generally, but more important as Christmas is approaching, avoid debts and overspending. You might have been doing well throughout the year, but then Christmas is coming. There's a lot of promos, right? Buy one, you always hear me. Buy 2, get 1 free. Buy this, get 50% off. Don't fall for those gimmicks. I'm a marketer. I'm a salesperson. My job is to make you spend more money. Instead, think about yourself. What do I? I'm not saying not spend money. Of course, spend money. It grows businesses. It helps the economy to grow. But spend what you want to spend. Don't be carried away. Don't say, oh, well, it's Christmas. I'm buying so many gifts. Beyond the gift buying, what is your why behind the gift? People care less about the value but more about the thoughts. Avoid overspending. Avoid borrowing. Don't say, oh, well, I can't afford this. Oh, let me put on a credit card. Oh, let me ask my friend for 2K. Oh, no, you don't need to do that. Don't end the year with a loan. You want to always, better is the end of a thing than the beginning of the year. That's what the Bible says. Always try to see how you can make your end better than the beginning thereof. If you start the year on a bad note, like taking loans or in debt, how can you avoid that this year? Try to ask yourself and see, what can I do to make sure that this year I end with a bang and don't go into debt when I don't have to go into debt? It's very important for you to think about that as the year comes to an end. Then number 5, in order for you to end the year better than how you started the year, create a vision for the next year. Don't skimp on this. Before 2025 comes, start thinking ahead. How do I want my 2025 to be like? How do I see my finances changing in 2025? Create a plan. Again, using the examples of businesses and corporations, they don't wait until next year to have a plan for next year. Already by December, they're thinking, okay, next year, how much are we going to spend for hiring? How much will you spend for R&D? Next year, how much will you spend on marketing and ads? Next year, how much will you spend on events, on summer events, on all this? They're already planning ahead so that they can enter the year empowered and prepared. I want you to do the same for your finances. Think to yourself, next year it's going to be birthdays. There's going to be Thanksgiving next year. There's going to be Christmas. There's going to be Halloween. There's going to be summer vacation. There's going to be back to school. How can I get ahead of the curve and prepare my finances so that when next year comes, I am prepared and empowered to attack the year with a bang? Follow these 5 things and I guarantee you'll be able to end your year as much as possible on a high note and get started with 2025 on a brighter note. I talk about this and more in my book on how to plan for the upcoming year, on how you should earmark your expenses on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, and for in between, so that when you're ending 2025, you are like crystal clear. You have like a map. Imagine entering the year 85 to 95% prepared for your expenses. Because I say 85 to 95% because there will always be unplanned expenses. There will always be miscellaneous expenses that come up. But if you are prepared, you'll be prepared enough to take on the new year with its challenges with a better mindset, no anxiety, and no stress. The link to buy the book is in my bio. Check it out and let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, bye for now.